That's a good process, and you know, we've had a lot of dealers that we go into and we kind of introduce this concept, and you know, all the hands go up, and oh my God, we can't do this. And it takes some discipline. It takes the parts manager to step up and say, we're going to start doing this every single day. And unfortunately, this is one of those weird things in a parts department that doesn't bother you if you don't do it. So you got a phone ringing off the hook. That phone's going to ring until somebody picks it up. You got a tech at the back counter. Hey parts, hey parts. He's not going to stop until somebody walks up. These reports, this process doesn't say a word. So it's easy to skip. Well, you know, Billy's off this week, and Fred's a little sick, so we're not going to do it this week. Well, let me tell you, that first week turns into the second week, the third week, and before you know it, we're not doing it. But then what do? It's inventory time coming up next month. So how many parts departments now go into panic mode? We're staying late, we got to touch everything, we got to clean them up, we got to move these bins, we got to do this, we got to do that. And finally on inventory day, it's, okay, we're ready to count. Well, why go through all of that? Let's do it every single day, a little bit at a time, and then enjoy those efforts all year, because when I look at the computer, it says I have 3 on the shelf. I'm relatively confident I can walk over there and touch 3. So there's a whole lot of benefit that goes with it. It's a lot of work, but it is one piece of professional inventory management that should not be overlooked, and a lot of parts departments just kind of blow it off. So one of the things that we want to make sure, and when we go into stores, is to talk about doing it, looking at their count sheets, and making sure the owner and general manager understand how important it is. The auditors certainly do. If an auditor comes in and says, hey, where's these parts? If I can't find them, I'm in trouble. It's just like a stack of money. Where's that stack of 20s? So anyway, here's your dealer track layout. You go to 13, which is physical inventory, and you're going to add a new sheet. And once that comes up, you can specify how your bins are going to be laid out, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have a setup just like in Reynolds or CDK, and right here, print quantity on hand, yes or no. So you want to print one without quantity, that's going to be your count sheet. You print the second one with quantity for verification, and you just fly on down the road. The other thing, Jared, that we do sometimes is we set the dealer up with a perpetual inventory log sheet. So we can show the person that was given a particular bin location to count how many parts were on the page, and did they turn it back in. And you can just keep that log. And typically that log goes along with a map, because a lot of times what happens in the parts department, Jer?
Well, it's same thing you're doing like a physical inventory. You're going to have a report that you can say missing count sheets or what didn't get counted. So that log is a great way of keeping track of what's actually being counted, how many am I getting through, and how many more do I have to do in order to keep up. Like I said, people have a tendency to find an excuse. We don't have time today. We were really busy. We're really slammed. We don't have time to do these things. Well, okay, maybe one day you can get away with that, but you know what? That just means you got to count twice as many tomorrow, because you got to maintain that pace to maintain the accuracy.
And that's right, you got to catch up. And I have a big store in Southern California, and they set up a really cool deal. They had about 12 counter people and stock clerks combined. So they got 12 clipboards, put them up on the wall. Everybody's name was on a clipboard. First thing in the morning, the assistant manager prints off the count sheets and loads them up. And then it's up to each person every day to grab their clipboard, get it done, and then pull it off, hand it in, and then we print the other sheet. But the parts manager or the general manager can walk in at any time and just walk by that row of clipboards and see who's counted their parts today or not. And again, hey, I'm going home. There's no, count sheet's still on your clipboard. No going home yet. Count your parts. So it's kind of a good, visual reminder. And again, these are processes and these are things that we have to put into place. Again, this is not one of those systems where it will yell at you if I don't count. Those count sheets can start building up on those clipboards. And if somebody doesn't say something, it's just, business as usual. So Jer, I think we got some good information laid out on this particular topic here. And what we want to do is our next video, we're going to talk about the reconciliation. And that's the second part of inventory. And whether it be a perpetual or whether it be the yearly physical. And that's reconciling the dollar amount with the general ledger. And that's really the most important part of inventory to the owner, because it verifies the value of the asset, and we are able to touch the parts and make sure that if I've got $489,000 in the building, the GL says, yeah, I've got $489,000 that I expect to be in that building. And when we start to go high or low, there's all kinds of things that can throw that off. But if I'm doing my perpetuals 4 times a year, if I'm doing my reconciliation once every month, inventory day is a piece of cake. There's no anxiety, there's no hand wringing, it's just another day. Biggest challenge I've got on that day is what kind of donuts do I get? Because I got a count crew coming in and they're just going to get it done and go. So anyway, Jer, thanks for joining us on this one and giving some of your insight. And I understand you had a little surprise at home.
Yeah, you know, timing, you may not be seeing this live, but we got a little snow at home. So here I am in Hawaii. Unfortunately, my wife is at home with the snow, and she's not real thrilled about that, Rick, but yeah, I think she'll get over it,
Yeah,
hopefully.
you keep rubbing this in her face, so that doesn't help anyway.
Well, hopefully she's not watching these.
Yeah, well, we got to get her on the thing here. So, and that reminds me, everybody, if you want to keep up with the DCSI Parts Guys, subscribe, leave us some comments, hit the like button down below and say, I like you guys. And Jared, if anybody needs to get some help on their reports, or they need to get our log sheet sent to them, how can they contact us?
Well, Rick, it's pretty simple. Send us an email, the DCSI Parts Guys at gmail.com.
Just that simple, and we'll respond back to you. And if you're one of our clients, we may turn that over to your consultant to get that taken care of for you, but one way or another, we'll solve your problem. So thanks everybody for joining us. Let's go make some money.